Hello, and welcome to Bachelor Bookkeeping and Financial Advice. My name is Dave, and tonight we're going to take a look at creating a living budget using Google Spreadsheets. So I've opened up a blank spreadsheet here. The way this is going to work is mostly it's a matter of recording what we spend, why we spent it, every day. So we're going to have columns for every day in a given month, as well as adjacent columns listing the cause. So, for instance, suppose that on the 1st of July we paid $700 rent. Go ahead, create the 1st of July. List a cause. 700 rent. Now to make the 2nd of July, just press enter to create a formula. The 1st plus 1. Now we can just copy these two cells, and thanks to our formula, we can paste them into all of the cells to the right in order to make some more July. However, the default spreadsheet size is not big enough for an entire month, so we just highlight all the columns. Simple matter of clicking on one column, then holding shift and clicking on the column to the farthest left. Right click, insert 26 to the right. Right click the top header, insert 26 to the right. Now we can paste. We created a little bit of August there. We can go ahead and erase that. We don't need August just yet. I'll make this entire row a little bit easier to see. I'm going to go ahead and bold it. Now, notice this number doesn't look an awful lot like money, so we're going to go ahead and take care of a little bit of formatting. That is to get everything but the top row selected. Format, number, more format, custom number format. Now you can see here we already have a fairly good format here. This way it'll turn everything into a dollar amount with 2 decimal places. And if it's negative, instead of showing a minus sign, it'll give it this nice red text so that we can more clearly see it. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. Okay. Now you can make it rather quickly and easily to any particular side of the spreadsheet just by holding down Control on your keyboard and then pressing the relevant arrow key. So for instance, to take a look at our formatting, suppose we have -500. You can see it's bright and shiny red. So now let's make some columns so that it starts to make a little more sense. Rent. Other columns I like to have are self-help, utilities, transportation, groceries, socializing, dining, gifts, fun, miscellaneous. Don't want that one to be bolded. Special Boon and bust column, and an income column. And so for the example of paying this rent, 700, so you just go to rent equals, click on that, and it updates. Now, a particularly useful feature in most spreadsheet programs, Sheets, Microsoft Excel, and OpenOffice. In the top left here, you see a thick gray, dark gray line. If you hover your mouse over it, it turns into a sort of a grabby hand. If you click on that, you can drag that to the right of the rightmost column of your most relevant section, in this case the income column, and that will sort of split your spreadsheet into 2 sections so that as you go day by day, you can just continue to scroll there and you will still see your main categories. So suppose that we buy some pizza on the 9th, costs about 16. And then suppose that we got a $15 haircut. So for pizza then, we just click back here to dining, equals. And then for the haircut, that's something miscellaneous. We don't get a haircut every month. And then for the cause, I also like to do equals and then the cause column for miscellaneous items like that. Now, the whole point of having these items is to have something we can compare them to. So down here a bit, let's go ahead and enter some values. Let's do 700 and 5. If you don't have these values right away, that's okay. It's really more important to just make sure that you're entering things. You can always correct them or adjust them later. And then here where we have a cause, that's a good place to go ahead and have a sum of all of these so that you know what your total budget wants to be, or what you want it to be. And now for the actual totals, it's going to be a sum there to there. That's rows 2 through 11. Now we can just copy. Also going to want that in the income column as well, so paste all of those and then just erase that. I also like to have a grand total. Of all the regular expenses. And then because a lot of times there's very little we can do to control our rent from month to month, I like to have a cell for just without the rent. There's a couple ways you can do this. Bit of a brute force method is to just add everything. You could also take the previous total and then subtract rent. Your choice, it's your spreadsheet after all. Now I really need to find a better name for this row, because sometimes we have either expenses or incomes, sudden gifts or fines, or like if you go to do something irregular that makes a little bit of money, that is either a boon or a bust. And so while these aren't something that you can do as far as configuring a lifestyle, it is good to keep an eye on them. And so that's what this boon and bust column is for. And so for the irregular grand total, as it were, all you have to do is add that previous total and this boon and bust column. And so just to give things a little more sort of clear labels, after a little experimenting and using the sheet for a while, I like to merge those two cells, so just format, merge. Let's see, let's go ahead, format, align, that's going to be right, align, middle, format, tell it to wrap. Okay, so that's a little more cleanly labeled. What? Oh. Press the wrong button there, sorry about that. Line those to the right. Now it's a good idea to have our net profit there. That's obviously what we're most interested in. And that is just going to be our income minus our total. And that'll give you an idea of what you're doing every month. And then for this particular month, make a bit of a mistake there, sorry about that. Clicked on the wrong thing, that's okay. And that way, in case, say we find 20 bucks lying on the ground on the 15th, it's not reliable income, but it is a boon. Okay, now something to make things a little more clear and easy to tell at a glance is I like to use conditional formatting to give some color to this row of data. And so I'm just going to select all of those. I'm going to go to Format, Conditional Formatting. Now, first is going to be if it is greater than this value, this row of cells there. So it's going to be a 12 through J12. And it's going to be a custom format. It's going to give it a red background. And done. As you can see here, made a bit of a mistake. That's okay. All we have to do is click on that. That's what did it. We accidentally clicked on the text instead of the fill. So, black text, red background. There we are. You can see we overspent on that miscellaneous column. So something you can do is perhaps to fix that. I will leave it for now because it's a good demonstration, but say as you're actually budgeting, you can go ahead, turn self-help, take $5 out of that, put that back in miscellaneous, and that'll compensate. Let's add another rule so that we know if we're doing well. Same range. This time it's going to be if it's less than about 95% of the value. And then instead of red, it's going to be green. And done. Now you can see here, because rent matched up what we were expecting exactly, it doesn't have any color to it. Because we don't have any expenses in these categories, it's completely green there. But let's go back to overspending on miscellaneous. So 45, 10. You can see we are in the red on the miscellaneous column there. And something else I like to do just to make it look a little bit nicer, double click on these borders between columns so that it doesn't take up quite as much space, except for that one because of the even grander total item. Okay. Something else I like to do, since we do have quite a lot of unused white space here, is also give us some room for notes. That way, in case you're doing something from month to month, let's go ahead and just put that on there. Then select that. Give us about 5 rows of data. Format. Merge cells, just horizontally. For notes specific to this particular month. And so, now for the particularly cool part. I can simply name that July 2016. And when it's time for a new month, to make it easy, all we have to do is duplicate the entire sheet by right-clicking on that tab and selecting Duplicate. Move that to the left, make it a little nicer. And next month's going to be August. And then simply click on A2 through A11. Shift and Control right until you get to the very end, and backspace to clear everything, and you have a new month in just a couple minutes. Now, suppose you don't know what you want these numbers to be. If you're just starting out making your first budget, that's okay. You can leave that blank. It's just more important to go ahead, have something, anything in there so you can keep track of them. And then when the next month rolls over, you can use the previous month's balances as these values. All you have to do is copy and then paste, or it might be a good idea to go ahead, paste special, paste values only, so you don't lose your formatting. And that way you can compare to see where you are from month to month. And so that is how you make a simple live budget using Google Sheets. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I'll go ahead and post a link to this sample sheet so it's public so people can use. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching Bachelor Bookkeeping and Financial Advice. My name is Dave, and I hope you have a nice night.